Hello, welcome to Field of Screams. Today we'll be talking about a movie called Antrum. This movie is supposedly a cursed film, and if you watch it, you will die. That is their way of marketing this film. It's a pretty creative way to market a film, honestly, if it is a horror film. It probably wouldn't be very appealing if there was an Adam Sandler film to where if you watched it, you died later. No one would tune into Huey's Halloween if you passed away 2 weeks later. That wouldn't be any fun. But since we're talking about scary stuff, this film, that's its pitch. If you watch it, it is cursed and you will later die after seeing it. I stumbled upon this movie on TikTok, actually. There was a little video of it. It had little subtitles that said, "If you watch this, you will die." It had a little weird clip to go along with it. I was like, ooh, what is this? And so I Googled it, and I read what the movie was about, and I was like, okay, I'll try it out. One of my friends came over that night, and I was like, hey, let's watch a movie. He goes, alright, what do you have in mind? And I was like, oh, this movie, it's supposed to be cursed. If you watch it, you die. And he's just like, what? And I was like, oh, yeah, that's what they say. I was just kind of having fun with them. I am a superstitious person, but let's be realistic. If there was a movie causing people to die, it would probably be on the news. It would be pretty big time. They wouldn't release this movie. They were pulling Texas Chainsaw Massacre from stores back when they thought it was too violent and too offending. So if a movie was actually killing someone, they would not let this film be released. There's really two parts to this film. The first half is a mockumentary, a fake documentary. And of course the fake documentary is about how this movie, people that watched it, they die in mysterious ways. There was one way in which a theater that was showing this film caught fire and killed everyone in it. And it's just kind of going through the different ways of how this film is cursed. I actually thought this part of the film was really effective. There's something about a mockumentary when it kind of presents itself as real, when it's not too out there, when it toes that line between fact and fiction, and you're like, oh, it could be a possibility. And if there's just an inkling of you that thinks it could possibly true, then the movie's done its job, or the mockumentary's done its job. The other part of the movie I didn't care for so much. The other part of the movie is actually the cursed bit that was filmed. And it is a brother and sister. They go off into this woods to where I think they said people commit suicide there a lot. It's supposed to be a very spiritual forest. And they camp out there in a tent. The brother in the film, he talks about his dog Maxine. His dog Maxine had to be put down, and you learn later it's because Maxine attacked the brother, Nathan. And after the dog's put down, he asked his mom if Maxine went to heaven. And I guess the mom teases Nathan and says, well, Maxine was a bad dog, so Maxine went to hell. Yeah, real nice joke there, Mom. Anyways, this part of the film, it kind of gets weird, and sometimes it's kind of hard to follow what's going on. There's a scene to where the brother gets separated from the sister, and he gets chased by a dog that is supposed to be Cerebrus, the three-headed dog from the underworld. And he hides from that dog. It kind of just came out of nowhere. That's kind of how this part of the film goes. I think it's intentional to kind of give the cursed vibe. Just lots of random things. They spliced in like random, weird, and eerie scenes to just randomly cut into the film that you're watching. So you could be watching the brother and sister talk, and then all of a sudden, boom, like some little spooky scene just pops up, and then it goes back to the film. And there's like whisperings and stuff. That stuff can be pretty creepy and eerie. The cursed part of the film, it kind of wears off once you get to the end of the film. They just kind of let the end of the film play out, which the end of the film is weird in itself. There's a plot to where the brother and sister run into cannibals, and one's doing something to an animal, and it's just really weird stuff and really weird territory, which maybe that's the point. But anyway, some of the spliced in scenes are very creepy. There's a creepy scene to where like it cuts to black and there's like a demon like hiding. It's like a demon's face in the black, and it's really faint. You can barely see it, and that's what makes it scary. And it just kind of lingers, and it's like you're having a scaring contest, a staring contest with the demon almost. I would say that's probably the scariest part of this film. This part does have like a 70s vibe to it. It does a good job pulling that off. There's a certain look that a film from the 70s has. Like, it's almost kind of dirty and almost just like a realistic kind of feel. You feel sticky sometimes watching a 70s horror film. And that's the kind of vibes you get from here. I know there's a lot of good reviews for this film, to which they praised on how this part of the film was done and how it looked. A lot of other people, they like the little scary spliced images and sounds that were inserted into this film. And I would say I thought that part was pretty good too. It kept it creepy. It kind of kept you on your toes when the scenes would carry on too long, or you got tired of the cannibals and their little shenanigans. The film also has kind of an amateurish feel to it, and I would say it's almost too amateur to pull off what it's trying to pull off. I mean, the idea of this film, I like the idea, and I like their way of getting the word out, you know, the whole cursed angle. I really like that. Like, that's scary stuff. And it attracts horror fans, you know, that want to see that sort of stuff. They want to get scared. They want to almost believe in it. You know, a lot of people, when they went to see the first Paranormal Activity movie, some thought it was real. I remember someone was like, no, man, it's a legit real thing. Like, it's a real haunting. But, you know, by the time they make the sixth movie, it's kind of hard to keep that argument up. And I mean, same thing with Blair Witch Project. A lot of people thought those people were really dead. And lots of people went to go see it. That's the human nature. You're curious. But by the time you get watching this movie and you get to the actual plot of this little bit here, the 70s bit of the brother and sister, it's kind of hard to tell what the message is in this part of the film. There's a part to where the Cerebrus dog gets caught in like a bear trap, and the boy lets it go, and I think it's supposed to symbolize him letting Maxine go. It's like him forgiving Maxine for attacking him when he's younger, which is a good idea on paper, but in the film I didn't get the feel from it. I wasn't like, oh, good, he released Maxine, like, that's great. No, like, the movie's so random, it's kind of like, oh, okay, we're back with Cerebrus, the invisible dog again. It was just kind of a weird movie in general. It was a good attempt. I appreciate the effort, but I wouldn't recommend this film to really anyone. I don't think there's anyone I know who would enjoy this film. I didn't really enjoy it. I mean, when it comes to cursed films, a movie like Incantation does it very good, which is on Netflix. I watched that recently. That was a really good cursed film. And this film is just kind of a low-budget, amateur, good attempt. Yeah, good ideas. I like the mockumentary part. I almost wish they used the mockumentary part and maybe did like a present-day struggle with a cursed film. Almost like The Ring. I don't know. It just could have been a lot better. It wasn't too great. There are a lot of people that do enjoy this film, though. So if this sounds interesting to you, give it a shot. It'll definitely be a different type of film. If you do watch it and you do like it, comment down below what you think. Tell me if you disagree, and tell me why. I'd love to hear different opinions. Everyone has an opinion, and no one's right or wrong. Well, this wraps up my review over Antrum. I really just wanted to cover this film because it is different. It's different than the standard type of film. And I think it's worth a watch if you like watching different kinds of movies. That's not the typical Hollywood produced film that goes in theaters and makes millions. It's a streaming movie. You gotta stream it, and I hear if you watch it with headphones, it makes it better. So there you go. If you enjoyed listening to this, feel free to give this a like and subscribe. That helps the channel out a lot. It helps recommend it to other people who like horror films. I would greatly appreciate that. And until next time.